Hi, it's Rosie at RoseByNameCo. I hope everyone is doing good. I thought I would take you along today on something a little bit different. It's not a tutorial per se. It is just, I guess, a craft along with me. I wanted to kind of take you along on what I do throughout the day and mostly sewing, what kind of sewing I do, what I'm trying to create or finish off, complete that I have started. For example, I have some journaling cards that I made in collages and collage that I will turn into a journal tag. And here is another one. I'm going to finish off this part. I used a sales tag, and I'm just going to cover all this up. And here's one. I just want to finish off putting backing onto it. And some different things, such as these little paper ruffles that you can put on journal pages or your journaling card. And I will sew these together, and then I've cut out some envelopes that I will do as well, that I will make kits from and put in my Etsy shop. So I've cut these out last night, and then I will sew them up today and put some embellishments on them and so on. So whatever it is I have going on throughout the day that I'm sewing on, I will just film it and make a video out of it. So I'm not going to talk all the way through the video. This might be more of an ASMR video, I guess, for the paper sounds and sewing sounds and so on. But I will start off with this journaling card that I made. It is on a cereal box, but a little bit firmer one, backing over here. And I've already done some sewing on it, as you can see. And but it needs backing or writing paper, so I will add that as well. So I have a little bit of green page here that I want to use. Now when I have some coffee stains that are more visible, I do like to put that on the writing side. I mean, you can always write over it, but it's just, I don't want to cover it up. It's just too pretty. So I'm looking for a little bit of green. So I'm just going to match this a little bit yellow green here. And I don't even actually, glue anything. I just put it on the paper that I want it on, and I will sew it this way. So I'm just going to put it under the machine and do some different stitches to go around. Of course, the needle comes out right away, first thing off the bat in the morning. Well, let me see if I can put that back. I'm going to turn it off because I don't want to get stabbed with it. So sometimes, when you're sewing a lot of paper, every now and then I do have to put the needle back. It comes out. Nothing really bad has happened with it otherwise, thank goodness. And I just need to firm it up a little bit in its holder, and we'll see if that does the trick. Okay. When you make a video, those things happen, and otherwise, it happens once in a blue moon. Okay, there we go. And I do have a whole lot of envelopes that I put on the side here to do, so I've made quite a few last night that I cut out while I was in bed. I still do some work. I don't know if anyone else does that. But once I finish my work over here at the machine for the day, I do bring things into bed and do a little bit more that I want to prepare for the next day. Maybe a little bit of zigzag, although I already have some on there. So that's one, and then of course I have to cut it out. And like I said, I don't even really glue it. Sometimes I put some glue on it if I'm really feeling that maybe it won't stay put. But otherwise, here we have a tag. It's now ready, and maybe I will put a little tab on it. And this is what it looks like in the back here, nice and pretty. And all the other items, such as textured items here that I did in this circle, where I cut out a circle and I used a negative on it, and then here punch out as well with a little bit of fabric, or maybe actually probably the same green as over here underneath. And then I did put different fabrics, if you can see a little bit of shiny there, and this one as well down here, and here some lace and so on. So I stamped it, I collaged it, and put texture on it, sewn it. So all I want to do is put on a little tab. I'm just going to, now I don't want to go with green again because there's quite a bit of green. Maybe I will go with just a little bit of this brownish one. Now I can put just this on its own. It'll probably look nice, but also I like to put a little bit more texture into it, so I might put a little bit of a different one as well, just to give it a little bit more texture. Now if I feel that that's not enough, I might add something else, but let me just see if that might be okay. I think that's pretty well okay. So I'm just going to go, I like to use the zigzag on these, so just to make sure that they stay put, and on a lower stitch like 1.6, so the zigzag is close together and catches on really well. Okay, so this one is now complete. I have some strands, threads that I've left on. I might leave them on, and I might trim some. I don't need all of them, so maybe I will trim some off. Let me see here. I do like them in the corners, but maybe it doesn't need to go all the way around. I'll just trim it a little bit, and maybe just trim this a little bit more, but let it. So this was now complete. So I've done a journal tag or card, really either or, it's okay. Now I do like to trim the corners a little bit. For some reason I'm just like the corners to be rounded on some of my items, not everything, or maybe just on the top. Now this one's a little bit, looks like a little bit firmer cardboard, like I mentioned, so a little bit harder for the trimmer here. So I'm just going to trim a little bit on the corners like this, and I probably won't do all of them. I'll just leave it like this. So now, of course, I would also ink that a little bit. Now you can, or you don't necessarily have to. And I'll just put a little bit around here. I just find it kind of adds a finishing touch onto it. Okay, so there we go. So this is pretty well it. Sometimes I do in the back as well, but I don't think it's necessary because here in the back you can already see a lot of coffee staining. So we got one that's done here. So let me see. So this one's already has some fabric on it. It's a little embellishment, and maybe I will just add a tiny bit of some oh, sorry. Maybe I will just add a tiny bit of a different color here. A little bit of red. And a little bit maybe like this. Now, of course, the fabric or ribbon, whatever you got going on here, sometimes likes to move. Now, when I do on the inside, sometimes I just go randomly. It's not anything in particular, just randomly to make some design. And that's pretty well it. I'm not going to add too much more. as far as on the inside of it. So I'm just going to look for more paper here and use this corner. I'm just going to trim the rest off so I can get through. Okay, ready to go through it. There we go. So I try not to do, you know, the corners. I do sometimes if I'm feeling that it's really needed, but for the most part I just sew right through, even on the corners. And I am going to trim a little bit more on this one. And so we have a backing on here, and we have detail on the inside. And I'm just going to add a little bit on the top. So now for the top here, for the tab, I don't always use fabric or ribbon. I do also use paper. So whatever I happen to have on the table here, and maybe a little bit of this one, and I'm just going to make it into a tab like this, and we're going to go with that. It has a little bit of the pinkish in here as over here, and I'm going to sew it in zigzag. And that's what will be on the top, and it's just fine. And I'm going to give it a little bit of I'm not sure, red or a little bit of blue dyes. Maybe I will go with a little bit of aqua, green blue on this one. So I will give this a little bit there, a little bit of ink on the side there, and I'll see if it needs it on the back. Not necessarily, but okay. Okay, so this one's finished. We're done with this tag, and I'm gonna go to the next one, and we're just gonna keep going. So on this one I have still the actual information or logo that was on there previously, and I'm going to add a little bit more now. I might add this trim that I have. So I'm going to put, usually I just put a little bit of glue stick on it. And now this is a piece of a book page that I was stamping over other things, but afterwards, of course, it's very usable. It's beautifully stamped up already, has a nice patina and so on. So I'm going to use that. So over here, I'm going to mix that with this, and I'm just going to give it a stitch to hold it down, and then I'll see there's a corner here as well that I want to finish off. So maybe on that, a little bit something different. Let me see. So also a little bit of glue, and just for, it still has the colors actually of this here, and well, we will go with it. There isn't, you know, sometimes a great deal of science and collaging, other than if it feels good to you, it's good. Sometimes my cutter doesn't work either, but you know, we have to get along with things. So I'm just going to do a little more sewing throughout, and otherwise I'm not sure if I want to add anything else as far as fabric. Maybe I'll add a dot of red. Should I add a dot of red somewhere? Let me see. Do I want red on it? I don't think I do. Let me see what else I have. about this little yellowish sparkly? That might be a little bit better, I think. Now it's just a matter of where do I want to put it? Right with the flowers, or more on this end? Yeah, let's put it here. So I'm going to just straight stitch and now go around on this. So that's going to be enough as far as the sewing, because I'm also going to sew around as well. I'm just going to trim off some of the ends here. Don't want on this one. You just kind of have a feeling where you want to leave the sewing tails or you don't. Like saying, I know. For the backing, it can be, you know, your paper, tea dyed paper or coffee dyed paper, but I also use a receipt book, and I will put sometimes some of this paper on the back. I mean, why not? And we're going to have a little bit of lines in this, so let me go around with on this one. Now if it slides a little, like this one is sliding a little, so I'm just going to add a dab of glue on it so it stays a little bit put. I think because this is a shiny cardboard. I'm going to leave the top on this one because I'm going to put something on top there, but sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So we have this one, and what shall I put on top of this one? I'm not sure, maybe I even want to do something a little bit more on the small size, or like that. And I might still put something else into it. I'll put just a little bit of ribbon there. So we're going to go with something more small. Now you can either do it this way, or you can put the ribbon on the outside. How about we put on the outside, even better? Yes, more like that. Okay. A little bit higher. Sometimes go a little bit slower so to make sure that it catches. Now I have a little white edge here, and this is now what it looks like in the back. It has lines on it, and that's fine. Maybe this is a little bit long. So I'm just going to ink that, I think, in the brown. There, and it's going to be fine. Okay. Now the paper is off just a little bit. I mean, you don't have to worry about it, but I'm just going to trim it off. So when I glue it, you get a little bit of indentation, and that's okay too. But for the most part, that's why I don't glue, so you don't see all of this, because there's a lot of sewing throughout. And if you want that detail, that's fine too. So anyways, this is a finished tag. And I'm going to leave one. It's not going to be a tag. It's just going to be like a card. So this one I already have some sewing done, and I have lots of texture in here as well, if you want to see it. And a little bit up here and so on. And I've done stamping as well. So this is maybe for one of my Gothic journals that I'm working on right now. I have, I don't know, 2 or 3 or 4 maybe. I do work on a few journals at a time, and I go from one to the other, and it breaks my monotony. Or if I have some kind of, you know, artistic block. I don't know if it's the same as writer's block, but artistic block. And it just keeps me more motivated. That way I don't get stumped on one. If I do get stumped in a way, I have another one to work on right away. So it's not like I go for days and I don't know what I'm going to be doing. So this one just needs a backing more or less. And let me see. Have one that's a little bit in orangish color. I'm going to use this one. This is what it looks like in the back. So, but this one's going to go more across here. I don't usually go right dead center because, well, I want to use the rest of it as well. I'm just looking at where I might get most color. I'm going to go this way, and then I'm going to use that for something else. So this one's just going to sew around. Use a little bit of a different stitch in this one at the edges. And then go back to just regular stitch. Okay, so I'm going to trim the paper off on this one. So this I'm going to leave more as a journaling card, so not put too much more embellishment. If I put anything more, I might put it on the side or just a tiny little piece, because even on my journaling cards, I like to put a little bit of something. So, maybe because I don't have any text in this one, I will just put a tiny bit of text. So not a bigger tab like on a journaling card, on a journal tag, but just something small, maybe just in a corner like this. Okay, so I just sewn over this and it didn't take because I'm now finished with my thread. So I will just change that and be right back. Okay, so I've rethreaded my machine and I'm just going to put this back on here and see if I can get this sewn up. Okay, so this one is good, and maybe I will use, I don't know, this one here, just for something different. Also a little bit aqua, it looks like. You know, not everything has to be the vintage brown. It can be different colors. And so this is what it looks like in the back, this beautiful pinkish orangish color to write on. And then this is the tag. So this one is finished. Has one long strand. I might leave it. I don't know. Kind of like it. So this is more of a journaling card. I mean, my daughter Maya, she's always confused between journaling tag and journaling card. They are similar in a way, but I probably make them even more similar by putting embellishments on top as well. So, but either or, it is a little journal insert that you can write on and keep in your journal. So I have quite a few more. So I'm going to vary this a little bit. I will come back to the tags, which are still over here to do. let me just show you what I have. So I have a long skinny one, what I call a tall tag. I have a couple more of these that I made in the same style. And these ones I haven't even sewn on the inside yet. So I need to do those. Maybe I will do a couple of those next. And also some more skinny tags. So I make them sort of in the same style in a sitting. So if I sit down and have certain supplies, then these tags will come out similar, but I use them in different projects. So let me just sew the inside of a couple of these where I have to do the inside part still. And these ones are already done on the inside. So I'll put those on the bottom to do later. And these ones are just paper right now, and I did some stamping. And I'm just going to add on these a little bit of fabric or ribbon or thread and so on. So just a little bit texture because I do love texture. So I have some threads right here that I'm just pulling out of my little trash bin. And I'm going to use this. So sometimes I just put them on and sew right through, and sometimes I will glue them. So let me just glue them down in this case, wherever it is that I feel maybe it should go. So we have some thread there, and I have a little bit more. I mean, I have a whole big bin full of threads as well, but since it's right here and it's going in the garbage, well, I might as well just pull it right out of here. So here I have a little bit more, and just what I do is just smoosh it around until it's a little ball so that it can fit somewhere. Let's put this one over here. There. Now if it feels it's not staying down, give it a little bit more glue. Well, let's see if we can make it stay. There we go, perfect. That's one long one. Let's leave it. And let's do one here as well. I will have to go to my stash of thread for that one. So I do have all kinds of bits here. And I'm basically just kind of cut off a piece. And this one's already in a bunch, which is good. So let me see where I might put this one. Let me see. I'm going to put it right over here. In between these antlers. These are kind of antlers, I think. Or it's a bird and those are the wings. I'm not sure. One of those things. So now I might want, maybe I'll put that red that I had. I do like it. So let me see where I might put it. Maybe I'll put it right there for like a sample, because this is a frame, and this is my own stamp that I cut out and made up into a frame, and I did it so that I can then put something in the center and for it to look like it's framed. So this one is just going to be right in the middle for a little bit of a, sample. So it's also more texture. And then, I have a little bit of green, a little bit of blue. I might put a little bit of blue over here. Maybe over here, just to make that corner up a little bit. I have a little bit of green. Maybe I'll put that one. Let me see. Maybe over here. And then these are the letters that I did. QR. I don't know if it goes this way. I guess it goes this way there, upside down, but it doesn't matter. It's really just for design. So those I did with the carbon that I write over. So this one might already have enough. Usually I put 2 or 3 things. This one already has 2. If I put anything more, I'm not sure, maybe a tiny piece. But I'm looking at, have a little bit of purple here. I might put purple instead. And over here I do have green already. So either up here or here. Maybe over here it's a little bit blank looking. So I'm just going to put it. Okay, so that one has 3 things as far as texture. So I'm not going to put anything more. This one has a couple of things, but they are very textured, which is wool and then thread. So I'm not sure if I want to put anything more other than possibly something that is, let me do this, of this nature. It will be paper, but I'm going to scrunch it up to a tiny ball and take it back out. And I'm going to leave it scrunched up, I guess. And let me see where I would put it. Either right here, on that ball there. No, over here. Does it even go there? I mean, it's an idea. It doesn't mean that it actually goes with it. How about I put it right here? Sort of like a corner thingy. I'm just going to put glue on it like this. Like a little corner tab. There. And this one has a couple things. Maybe I want a little bit of ribbon on that one. What color? Not sure. Does it matter? A little bit of gold in that for some reason. I'm thinking tiny bit of shiny gold piece somewhere. So where would that fit? Does it fit? Just kind of have a feeling, you know, you kind of feel it's right. So I'm actually going to put it in here. You know, may not be right for everyone, but that is how I feel on these. So these now are ready to be sewn. So I'm going to just sew through them. Go one by one and do some stitches. And I do try to go right through the bits that I just added. And of course it's not sewing. Yeah, it is. So I just go right through the bits that I added just to make sure that they are down good. And I'm going to add a little bit of leaves because I have a good clear spot there. Sometimes the leaves don't come out if you put it on darker spots or spots that are already very busy. Okay. Okay, so that's this one as far as the inside stitching. Okay, so we're just finishing off sewing this one on the inside. I'm going to run a little bit with a stitch over that to make sure that it stays. And I'm just going to take a look whether I feel this is enough of sewing on the inside. I'm probably going to give it just a little bit more. And a little bit on this side. Okay, so I'm going to leave this one alone now. Go on to the next one. Now let me see, anything else I want on this one? Probably just a little bit of regular stitch. Okay, by the time I do a round, it should be enough on that one. Now this one, actually I didn't add any, let me see where I might add something. Okay, so this is one I'm just going to add some texture, whatever I might happen to have. Let me see. And a little bit of, let me see what I might have here. Okay, I have this little bit that is just sitting on top of my pile, so I'm going to use the whole thing. Let's see on that one. I might do just a little bit more this way. And I think we're good on this one as far as sewing on the inside. So we're going to move on to the envelopes.